Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Choices. I am still your favorite host, Choice Gabriel. Today, I have a guest here with me, and there's another person then Francis. Welcome to
Thank you
Choices.
for having me on your show, Trace.
Thank you. Can we get to know you a little more?
Okay, all right. I'm Francis Okoye. I'm
Mm.
from Anambra. I work with a private company, we're into telecommunications and fintech at the moment. You know, fintech is moving the world at the
I hope you're
moment.
not trying to advertise your company here.
No, no,
So you're
I'm
going
not
to give me
trying.
millions for that.
No, not yet. But when we come to advertise, we're going to be having billions. Millions is going to be a
Because
statement.
billions care. All right, you're welcome to Choices once again. Today, I want us to talk on the red flags in relationship.
Okay.
I'm sure you must have had one or two relationships,
Yeah.
probably broken a few hearts, and a few people must have broken your heart.
Okay.
Can we talk about those red flags in relationship? Those things that make you know that no, this one is not going to work or this one is not going anywhere.
Okay. But I would like us to balance it. I may have broken a very few hearts where I have
A
more
very
people,
few.
Yeah, very few where I have more people that have broken my own hearts.
Really?
Yes. But moving on, moving on, we in discussing these red flags in relationships. Well, basically, these red flags are things that whenever you're involved in a relationship, you see them and they're the things that tell you, no, I need to stop this, or no, I need to run for my life in worst case scenario.
Oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah,
or
this is not.
heading
It's
anywhere.
it's
It's
a
character,
set.
it's not something I can condone.
Exactly. You know, but in a way, red flags are actually different from turn-offs, so we can come to that much
Yeah,
later.
okay.
All right. So in red flags, we have situations whereby um, your partner doesn't share the same dream that you, with you rather. Um, you may be tilting towards option A, and your partner wants B, and if you guys have not discussed it from the start, when you fully get involved, it causes issues. I can give you a scenario. Maybe a lady shares a dream of having her own catering school,
Okay.
and then the man is like, what is he doing with the catering school? That he wants her to be probably doing an 8 to 5 or 8 to 4. And then when she starts to go after that dream, the man wouldn't like it at some point, and then it starts to create this friction. So you start to wonder, they should have discussed this
Earlier, before
much earlier before moving into that.
relationship.
Yeah. You know, and we have some other ones. We have situations whereby a partner may tell the other person, or the lady, let me use an example, the lady may tell the other person, for this, I want my privacy to do this. And the man wouldn't understand that, oh, there's nothing like, or the man would say, like, there's nothing like privacy between me and you. But sometimes, you know, this privacy is actually needed.
I think people chase after the ring, girls chase after the ring rather than checking compatibility of whether it is they want to settle down. Now, in checking before domestic violence or a marriage leads a relationship leads to marriage, and at the end of the day they are not compatible anymore, they're heading for divorce. I think there were things they must have seen or signs they saw, but they tried to ignore them. Do you get? So can we buttress on those points? Like when you're dating someone, those factors you see, those checks that makes you know, okay, this is a red flag, I'm supposed to back out of this relationship.
Okay. At the start of the show, I said something about turn-offs being different from
Red
red
flags.
flags. And now, I don't know, when I'm talking about issues, I like to just give
You can
real
give
scenarios.
instances
Yes,
with yourself
instances.
too.
Okay, so for example, I try to get involved with a lady, and then I see something annoys her. I'm really careful. I watch how she handles the anger. She's human. She's actually allowed to get angry.
Angry.
But it's how she handles it that
Matters.
tells me, yeah, that's what matters. So, if when she's angry and I see her, in the name of anger, break stuff, it doesn't have to be something expensive, just maybe bottle water, the container, whatever.
Okay. So there's a bit of violence there.
That's a red flag already.
Okay.
Okay, it's a bottle water now. Tomorrow it could be TV. Next tomorrow it could be my
Be
head.
human. Why your head?
You know? So I would always try. I see these things, but then you know what I said turn off also is, like I said, everybody likes a certain kind of person.
Okay.
So, e.g., a guy may like a slim lady, and then he sees someone that is not slim, but character and every other thing, she's it.
Okay.
It's no longer a turn off, it's not a red flag.
Okay.
Because nobody is perfect. He didn't create anybody.
Mm.
So you could still end up in a relationship with the person.
Okay.
Because you should also ask, I think we'll use the normal language you use, spec.
Okay.
So are you your
Spec.
specs? Are you your spec?
Yeah.
So who knows also what she must have pushed away just to ensure that they both end up together. So
Okay.
that's
So
a
now,
turn off. That's a turn off.
We've been able to
Okay.
pick out anger management, anger issues. Like it's a red flag when you see that, you know,
how you handle your anger.
how you handle
Especially when you're violent. Once you're violent, for me, that's a no.
Okay.
There's in that case, there's no going back. You know, we have cases of domestic violence and the rest of them. If you look at most of the ones that have died from domestic violence, it started from a very little thing. This one acted this way, and he or she got slapped.
Okay.
The next day, he or she was locked in a room. Another day was flogged, and then one day there was no coming back.
Killed. Okay, then what about? I think sometimes people tend to pile up anger, like you don't get to forgive easily when someone or your partner offends you. Do you think that could be a red flag to check out in a relationship?
Yes, and also, someone keeping whatever it is over time and getting angry and reacting. No partner can help you with that. That's self-development. You need to work on yourself.
Yes.
You cannot, it's a burden, it's a baggage that only you can solve. You don't need to take it to anybody. Nobody has done anything to you to deserve that.
Okay.
So you're the only one that can solve whatever baggage that is. So for example, I may have anger issues and then maybe somebody does something to me from January to December and I keep counting and counting that one day. No, it has nothing to do with the girl.
But what about in a situation when a girl feels she can change the person? Some people will be like, oh, don't worry, he's a nice person, he's good, he spends money, he just has this tiny anger that probably could even lead to him raising her, but he never beats me, you get? So I think I can change him.
As much as sometimes people change when they get married or most times when they start to give birth to kids, there's no proven statistics or number in it, but I feel like it's 1 out of every 15.
Okay.
People are truly themselves when nobody's watching.
That's true.
So if she's believing that if I get married to this man, he's going to stop doing this and that, I believe she has clouded her judgment. As much as life generally isn't black or white, love isn't black or white, there's some gray areas. I still believe you have to have like a focal point where you look at that relationship. You cannot, I don't believe you're involved with a man, he gets angry, he embarrasses you, disgraces you, and you keep telling yourself he's going to change,
verbal abuse.
He's not going to change.
Okay.
Because at that point in time, that is for him to work on. He's definitely not going to change it.
And it's not something you should pray about for God to change the person. Because people believe, don't worry, I'll be praying for him. Or the Bible says, I'll pray for her. It's just that you can't have it all, so let me pray for her. God will change her.
Somebody that is 6 feet tall obviously started from 10 inches and probably grew to that 6 feet. Now, if again the man is someone that beats ladies or has a terrible character, it didn't just happen. Something happened. And if you look at it most of the time, what would make an abusive person be confident on abusing a lady? It means he probably has done it to 1 or 2 people that accepted it. Yeah, so he believes that is the normal way. The culture. It also begs this question of nature and nurture, but again, that will be going too deep. But in terms of nature, he may have seen maybe a parent or somebody very close, someone that's a family figure, would have seen such people beat their partners and probably grew up with it to an extent as a normal thing. Then in terms of nurture, what he has seen outside and his anger issue, basically how he perceived life, like if you don't do something by force, you won't get it.
Yeah. Alright, let me ask you a quick one. I've heard people say if a man drinks, smokes, he definitely will womanize. Do you think these are red flags that you should check out for? Like, a guy drinks, he smokes, so definitely he must womanize, like chase after women.
Okay. Too much of everything is bad, actually.
Okay.
There are responsible people that do at least 2 or 3 of these things. But when I say responsible,
2 or 3.
yeah, why I said 2?
3 is like doing the whole thing, like the womanizing, the drinking, and the smoking.
The why I said 2 or 3 is when it comes to the womanizing thing, the person, if you're in a relationship, it's pointless womanizing. It's not like we're trying to say womanizing is actually good. It's not good. Now, it's bad enough that you are single and you're womanizing. Then it's worse when you're actually involved in a relationship and then you're still womanizing. Then it's terrible when you're married and still womanizing.
And for all the categories you finally given to me, the basis is premarital sex is wrong.
Yes, it is actually.
But maybe the world standard, but according to scriptures, premarital sex is wrong.
Yes,
now you come to find a man who do not only have premarital sex, you say he loves somebody, he's drinking. It's okay, fine. 1 or 2 bottles is not the same according to some people, so we can manage that. He smokes.
Okay.
And I feel like, okay, probably if he has money, say he's a rich kid, so probably he traveled abroad, and people have a way of making excuses. And then he womanizes, and you're still in a relationship with that person. That will not be enough red flag for you to run.
Like I said,
must you allow the thing progress to marriage and believe it's going to change?
You asked me something, and you said something about how they tell themselves when they get married to this person, he or she is going to change this.
No, girls will say, I will pray for him. I can change him. Like you're now the Holy Spirit who will be able to change anybody at any time.
Okay. They are one of few men that will go sit down in a bar and quote empty one crate into their tummies. But sometimes it happens to the extent that emotions like is a bit involved. They could meet a girl, they like this girl, they don't want to get married to this girl. And like every relationship, compromises have to be made.
Okay.
So they meet this lady, they like the lady and everything. And the lady tells them, you know what, part of my terms and conditions, you need to stop
good. Change your ways.
Drink, change your ways. And you see, at least I know like a real life scenario. I think they got married about 10 or 15 years ago.
That's very rare. People pretend.
They got married 10 or 15 years ago. Smokers, they're actually
both of them.
Yeah, smokers and the drink. And at least I was still with them last year. I sat with them last year. These days, they don't take more than 1 bottle of whatever.
But they don't smoke anymore.
They don't smoke anymore. They had stopped it. Now they got married and responsibilities. Responsibilities also have a way of, making you focus on what you should focus on. So,
but I believe that if a man cannot change before you meet him, like he's not this changed person and he's trying to change because of you, I don't see that as genuine change. I don't see it as you making a progress. I believe you just want to get the trophy, and then when you're done, you're relaxed. Okay, this is mine. I've gotten her. She wants me to be this person. So now that I've gotten her, can we go back to what?
Okay. See the thing about change. I'm taking 10 bottles of beer every day, and all of a sudden, because of it, I decide to change and start taking 2 bottles or 1 bottle then sparingly, and before you start take 1 in a week, 2 in a week.
So are you changing because of the person, or you're changing because you really want to be responsible?
I want to be responsible. 1, 2. Like I said, she may have changed me. Because I'm looking at her like, if I don't stop this thing, I will lose her. And if I lose her, it's a big deal for me.
Really? Alright, I'll go on a quick break. When we're back, we'll continue with this. Thank you. Don't go away. Welcome back, guys. Before the break, we're still talking about red flags in relationship, those things you see that would make you know that this is not a relationship you should continue with, let alone letting it lead to marriage. So we've talked about anger issues, and we've talked about not sharing the same dream with your partner as one red flag. What other ones do you think we can talk about today?
Okay, there's one other one. There's several ones, but I'll just pick up one from the list. Now, a situation whereby your partner keeps positive reinforcements. Like when they tell you, don't worry, you're perfect. I know you can do this, you can do that. It's good. But sometimes it gets too much. And when I mean gets too much, there are some partners that would, or rather, I guess some partners actually project you in such a way that
you're too perfect.
Exactly. They want you to be this kind of woman they have. Let me come from the male. And so in that situation, I'm projecting you, I'm looking at you as, oh, you have to be the kind of woman I want you to be. Or maybe a woman I dated in my past. But you have to just be perfect, be this kind of person, be that, and you know. And then when you become
It means you're fitting the person into a particular perfect box you've created
a
for yourself.
fantasy, let's put it that way. And then when you become human, which means you're not perfect, you have your flaws, and you totally become inconsolable because I would not accept the fact that you did this or you could. I feel like you betrayed me.
Okay. So unhealthy.
Yeah, it's an unhealthy. Let me call it an unhealthy praise. If there's something like that. So you keep telling your partner. Maybe your partner wakes up in the morning and you're like, no, I want you to keep fringe. Don't keep this kind of hairstyle. Don't keep braids. Then she does it. She goes and says, no, put blue fingernails or that thing you use painting your fingers.
And I don't paint, so you said that thing ladies use.
Okay, the thing ladies use. So paint it blue, paint it red, make it yellow.
Okay, so in a nutshell, like unrealistic expectations from your partner, of which if they fall short of it, it becomes an issue for the person. So that's a check for you to move. Then also, can we talk about people when you're in a new relationship and you keep comparing your partner with your ex? Like, if it were to be my ex, he would have done this. If it were to be this one, he would have done that. Like, they're still hung over their past relationship. They're not totally healed of it, and they bring it into the new relationship.
Yeah, the project. Well,
so
but the thing is, I don't know. I like one or two movies and comedies, and there was something that said in one of the movies I watched one time, which somehow stuck in my head and says the only thing that can heal a broken heart is time. Now, some people
time alone.
It's time because
just time.
That's the same. I know it's not time alone as a person. That's
because you can give me 20 years and probably people will tell you, sorry, I want to use a very worldly language. Say this person was my first boyfriend and disvirgined me and I cannot get over him. So time alone don't heal that for some people.
Yeah, but for some people, they break up in a relationship and in 1 year they're over it. For some others, it takes them up to 5 years. For some, 10 years, depending on how fast you can heal. But it's not a process you rush.
Okay.
Now, some people that are maybe supposed to heal in 3 years may feel after 1 year they have healed of the previous relationship. They're going to a new one. Then there's this mental comparison between the new partners and the new partner and the old partner. And in fact, for me, that is the moment. I for use myself as an example. If I try to get into a relationship and I find myself comparing you from the onstart, I try to end it, or I explain, I communicate, tell my partner this is better.
Which means you might not be totally into the person.
Because if it goes that way, it means anytime I see you or hear maybe the name of my former partner, she comes to mind. I start to think about her.
That's true. So when someone begins to compare you with the former partners in your life, you should know that.
Yeah, you should know that it's a red flag.
For you to move on.
It's a time for me to move on. Let's go.
So now let's bring it down to Christianity.
Okay.
Now you met a guy in the church or a girl in the church, and you guys are good, and because he's spirit-filled, tongue-speaking, he reads the Bible, he does everything, you decided to probably rush into marriage or anything with a person without really checking. In church they'll tell you 6 months courtship because if it lingers more than that, they might have a tendency of having sexual intercourse. So they bring it shorter to 3 months or 6 months. So these people don't get to check. In this situation now, how would the person discover or check out for flaws? How do you think this person, a partner in such relationship can check out for red flags in a person?
Okay. I think the key thing before you settle with anybody is friendship. You can be friends with somebody, and if you guys have like 20 hours in a day to sit down together for the next 1 year, there's always something to talk about. Something makes you guys laugh. There's always something. Now, yes, I feel the 6 months is okay because at the end of 6 months, if the relationship gets to this diminishing return. So it has hit its peak. They have not solidified it, it starts to drop.
Okay.
So I think 6 months is actually
It's okay. So then in that 6 months, you're able to, through friendship, pick
Yeah,
out
true friendship, pick
the
out.
person's
Then you look at, you
character.
see these
But what if the
flaws.
person is pretending?
That's the thing, you see these flaws. That's the thing about friendship. In friendship, eh, I can just walk up to a lady, for example, and say, I want to be in a relationship with you. And for the next 10 years, I will hide a certain character.
That's true.
But when you're true friends, the person may not even be seeing the relation. As in, the relationship doesn't become hard the moment you're friends. It doesn't become difficult.
Right.
So the moment you're friends, it's going to bring out the flaws in the person, no matter how much the person tries to hide it. Now the question is, you ask yourself, can I go through these flaws? But then because of that friendship, sometimes the flaws may be inconsequential. But like I said, you also have to like have a time when you talk to yourself. You also have to talk to yourself, okay, friend, you have to be objective.
Okay.
Friendship aside, this thing this person is doing to me,
Yeah.
or this flaw this person has, is this something
Something
I
I can live with. I think most ladies or guys, when they fall in love, like they say, when they fall in love, they don't fall with their heart and senses. They fall in love with their heart and they keep the senses at home. So when things are happening, they tend to cover up. People make up stories, even when you know this thing is a major issue. You just make up stories to push it aside and move on with the relationship.
You know, the thing is, I'm of this view. I may be wrong, but I believe it's worked for me, and I believe it will continue working. I'm of the view that the love is there whenever two people get married. But I believe the love is going to be there for maybe 2, 3 years tops. But I feel what keeps them, I would say my view may be wrong.
So you're part of those that will say
No,
commitment.
what keeps them together is actually the friendship.
Okay.
Because I'm certain to an extent you may have a friend that you've known for 10, 15 years. You're not married, but the friendship is keeping you
Not
guys
everyone
together.
have the luxury of being friends before they get married. I have someone who I know saw her husband in just a month and they got married and they're living happily.
Different
But
strokes for different folks.
But theirs is based on spirituality. They prayed, they confirmed, they knew it was God telling them to come together. Because I still believe, call me old school, but I still believe that God is a perfect matchmaker. No matter what you say, God can still bring two people together. And all these things don't have to.
No, basically any relationship without God is just a waste of time. It's companion, it's just staying together.
That's true, but most relationships we see today, people, have you seen stories like, I've dated him for 12 years, I finally we got married. Me, I'm like, if you are giving birth to a child from that 12 years you met this guy, it's waste of time. Why you spend such long time in a relationship without sealing it? It means you guys were, I don't know how to put it, a lot of things must have gone on and you try to compromise and then marry the person and at the end of the day you're giving us a testimony. I don't see that as a testimony. 12 years, what are you doing for 12 years with
12
somebody?
years. And, you know, that's the thing I said about at 6 months, the relationship. If the next step is not taken at the end of 6 months, the relationship suffers a decline, like that diminishing return. So the excitement has reached its peak. There can only be one way to push it ahead, which is marriage. Ending up together. Once they don't do that, it begins to drop. And when it starts to drop, it means everybody's now thinking, okay, since I won't get married from this person, I'm going to get it from another person.
Alright, to round up this section, can you advise someone out there who's in a relationship and probably doesn't see some things as red flags? Can you probably just give the person advice like look out for this, look out for that? Especially you're a guy. As a guy, can you advise a girl, please look out for this in a relationship and know that this is not right? If it leads to marriage, it's going to be dangerous.
Alright, regarding the question,
Yeah.
the advice I can give anybody getting involved in a relationship is never ever let yourself be caged.
Okay.
Now, for many ladies, they let the fact that they are going to their 30s cage them.
Okay.
It puts them in this box
Pressure
of
of age and all
it puts
that.
them in this box of any man a man. Now, the thing is, they always have to be objective with themselves because the truth is, I believe your happiness comes first.
Okay.
I'm a true believer of that. Except maybe at a situation when you start to have children and at some point, but that's way beyond. So before you get married, I feel like do not let 30, before you're 30 or 35,
Not be pressured by
not be
your
pressured,
age.
you get.
Okay.
And at that age, they should sit down, ask themselves, okay, this person I'm about to end up with, can I cope with his flaws? And is he coping well with my own?
Close. Is the person accommodating me or tolerating me?
Exactly,
Or
it's
does the
accommodating,
person truly
tolerating.
love me?
Yeah, that's true. And you can also let these fears be known to the partner. You know, okay, so I do this thing, I do this thing. I'm trying to see, I know this is annoying, I know I'm trying to change. Then you watch the person's reaction. In fact, to an extent, just a very little extent, I feel like sometimes you should annoy your partner on purpose, just to see how the partner
Okay,
reacts.
just to get the person's
Just the
reaction.
person's
Alright,
reaction.
so your advice in a nutshell is do not be pressured by your age,
Yes.
don't check the number, make sure the person you're going in with is worth it,
Is what it is.
and don't ignore the signs you've seen. Thank you so very much, Francis. Thank you for joining us. Alright, guys, you've heard it. The Bible says two cannot work together unless they be in agreement. Do not pressure yourself into bringing down your standard because for the ladies the age is running, or for the guys probably because people are pressuring you to get married, or your peers are married, or you just love the idea of marriage. Let's check out for the red flags. With these things, we can be able to minimize the number of divorce we have and the number of domestic violence happening. So check out for those things. It could be domestic verbal abuse. Don't overlook them. A man who abuses you in public today, could actually go a step further in doing something dangerous tomorrow in the marriage. So don't overlook those things. Check out for those things you know that you're not comfortable. Don't manage them. Don't say I can manage them or let me change the person. No one person can change another person. If the person wants to change because they've met you, the change should be between them and God, not you and them. The person should change first on their own accord, not because you're forcing them or because they want to get you. So on this note, I would like to say thank you so very much for joining us, and please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel until we come your way.